Ladies and gentlemen, we are live from the Isle of Man in the UK. This is John and Mike's MMA Corner.
Okay, I am joined with Eric Crittendon. Is that the way to spell it, Crittendon?
Yes, it's Crittendon, Crittendon.
There we go. So you're taking on a gentleman by the name of Julius Anglickas. Here we go. Certain names here. Anglickas. Here we go. We'll call him Julius. You're fighting Julius on the 30th of January.
Oh yeah, I can't say his name neither.
Yeah, we'll just call him Jay. He likes being called Jay, apparently.
There you go.
Yeah, you're fighting on the 30th of January at Shamrock FC. Now, Eric, this bout, it's on the professional side of the card, because the good thing about Shamrock FC is they like to split their card up into amateur card for the prelims and then pros to the main. And I like the way they do that, because what they're doing is they build up the amateurs as well, so by having amateur fights on the card, which is great, and then they switch to the pro ranks all on the main card. Your bout with Julius, you know, it's the 3rd of Jan. It's the start of the new year. It's the start of for what many fighters look at as the pivotal point of their year. Really, fighters look at a year, and it's a key fight really to get your career for 2016 onto a good positive note. So how have you been preparing yourself for this?
Well, what I usually do is I do a lot of cardio, mostly. A lot of striking, a lot of cardio. I do a little bit of mat work with some of the guys. I don't really have a team, so I usually pull some wrestlers, and I wrestle around with them. Then every once in a while, I can run into a few jiu-jitsu guys.
So you say you haven't got a team. Is there a reason you haven't got a team? Is it because of where you are logistically, geographically? Can you not get to somewhere?
Oh no, it's just I just never found a home, never found a team.
Oh, sorry, I'm hearing the violins playing, mate. It's heartbreaking. This.
I've been training by myself for years. The only time I ever had a coach was when I was practicing karate as a child.
And you say karate there. You have got, though. It's not like you've just fallen into a sport, and you've taken on martial arts though in general, haven't you, over the years? So you have got a background, a good background knowledge, a good base anyway. So like you said, karate. I believe you did taekwondo, and even you went into the boxing side of things as well.
Oh yeah. When I started boxing, I've never had an amateur career in anything my whole life, except for I guess amateur karate, point sparring. But then, boxing came into play because I wanted to do kickboxing, but the promotion that was hosting boxing didn't have a kickboxing, and they said it wasn't very popular at the time. So I jumped into boxing. And I've been doing that for a while, and then whenever MMA came calling, I never got to do an amateur MMA fight, so I jumped into the pros on that as well.
I was going to say, your footwork then must be very good, because with taekwondo, for example, taekwondo is basically, it's all on the toes. It's very light-footed, and then with boxing, again, it's based on the toes, the movement. You've got to be very light in your feet. And the same with karate. It's that with the karate, it's closing that gap and getting away. I imagine your footwork must be very good then. When you go with the wrestlers, they must find it a bit difficult to get you down because they can't catch you necessarily.
Well, I tend to, my feet tend to get underneath me a lot. I had to work with some wrestlers in order to change that. They said that I was, I think they said I was too square because due to the boxing.
Mm-hmm.
For the longest time, I was standing flat-footed until one of my instructors, when a guy just kind of took me under his wing for a day, slid a piece of paper underneath there, and he said that's how high your toes or your heels need to be off the ground. And that's how I learned to keep on my toes.
I was going to say, with the wrestlers and everyone kind of helping you along the way, then you say you every now and then you roll the jiu-jitsu. How much rolling do you get then with that side of things, the jiu-jitsu grappling side of things?
I'd probably, the only time I really use that is if I get taken to the ground and they manage to slip up in a position. I'm usually able to feel my way around. That's where I get the jiu-jitsu from. The jiu-jitsu's taught me how to feel around.
And do you know,
for openings,
because you've done a lot of stand-up, you know, during your
I love standing up.
Yeah, prior your MMA career, it's all been like basically stand-up. How did you find the transition then to the grappling side of things, to the ground game? How did you? Because, for example, I'd imagine your arms must have felt exhausted the first time, kind of experiencing that, because especially when you stood back up again, you probably felt like your arms were like a lead weight.
Oh yeah, usually it's my legs that are usually pretty tired because I'm trying to shrimp out from underneath the person, trying to squirm, and you know my legs are usually the ones that are pretty tired. But 9 times out of 10, the reason why I'm on the ground is because the guy took me to the ground. Yeah, that's mainly the reason. I've been trying to work my takedown defense, but once they were realizing that my takedown defense was really bad, they said, "Well, we'll work with you on some Brazilian jiu-jitsu. That way, the work's already done for you whenever you're on the ground." So
yeah.
So once I was on the ground, I would try to fish and find a limb to twist or pop.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. If you can stop your opponent attacking you on the ground, if you can stop them attacking, it means you're being offensive. And even if you're being offensive by getting up, that is a form of an attack in a way. You're stopping them from doing what they want to do. So it is really, it is trial and error as well, I suppose. But with I want to go to your boxing background. One of the key parts of MMA, which really isn't utilised as much, is the jab. The jab is a huge part. Even in boxing, obviously, we know boxing's huge. But in MMA, people are starting to... Only a couple of guys are really utilising the jab as such a really huge component of their stand-up. Does that something then for you feel like you've got an advantage there? Because your jab, obviously, with the boxing, would just come naturally to you.
Yeah, he's got an amateur boxing career. I guess he fought in the Golden Gloves around St. Louis. I did some reading on him, but it's not really just the jab. It's also where you place your feet. Boxing, the term boxing actually comes from the side of the ring. That's why the ring is a square. Is because you're trying to box your opponent in. And make the space smaller, and the way to do that is you gotta keep popping that jab and cut the ring off, and you throw that jab so that they you throw the jab, and if they decide they want to move to your right, they're setting themselves up for a nice little right hand. If you throw the jab and step off to the left, if you're a lefty, then you pop it twice or throw a hook. I love the jab; it's a great measurement tool. I try to throw it as much as possible. Usually they're moving towards my right hand, so whenever they move towards my right hand, I usually try to throw that right hand.
But the thing is, because you've got the karate taekwondo, I'd imagine your hips are quite flexible. Because I found that I've sparred with boxers, and their hips are very tight because of their stance that they do for so long, that when it comes to grappling, jiu-jitsu, even throwing kicks, they find it really difficult to. But with karate and taekwondo, your hips, I imagine then mixing up the punches and the kicks must be quite easy, fluid for you.
I love to mix them up. As a matter of fact, when I was doing karate tournaments as a kid, my number one tool were my kicks. I got these flippy kicks that you wouldn't believe. I always have to trick the people so that I can get them, and they always look at them and be like, "Man, you're fast." I was like, "No, it's not fast. I just tricked you." Flexibility plays a big part in that part.
Yeah, it is. I always say to people, you've got to disguise stuff. Even when it comes to jiu-jitsu, I tell people, I say, you just can't go for a triangle or an armbar. You need to set up something else to disguise that you're going for a triangle. So it's the same principle there. You want to do a certain kick, you can't just throw it because they'll see it. You need to set up something else.
Absolutely.
And it is deception. Yeah. So I think, looking at it, you remind... Like your background with the styles, I think of Machida and Stephen Thompson as very good examples to think of when it comes to and even Pettis when it comes to Taekwondo and karate. But the thing is, you've got that advantage, I feel, already of the boxing. So where Taekwondo will use their kicks, they won't have the punch power. You've got the kick power and the punching power, or you've at least got the precision of the boxing punching, which I think Julius probably will find that rather difficult. I feel that Julius, even if he has got a boxing kind of background, he'll find that he might want to keep this close, maybe do it. So he takes out the element of your kicks, maybe dirty box.
Oh yeah. He's very tall too, so I mean, I'm definitely gonna have to get a little close. I'm gonna have to set it up though to get in close with him. I'm definitely gonna have to do something to get him because he's a very tall guy and he's 5'0", But I went and looked up his other opponents and everything, and I wasn't too impressed with his other opponents.
Well, the thing is, he's obviously going to he's going up against yourself, and he might be feeling 5-0. He feels like Superman, but he might not realize. He might not know what your background is. That's the thing. A lot of people don't know what each other's backgrounds are. An MMA record can say only so much, but hearing your background, I think that you've got a very good kind of collective stand-up game, which is deadly. And the thing is, a fight always starts on the feet. It always starts standing. So it's already, the fight starts in your advantage, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah. It's they always end up taking me to the ground though. They have a hard time standing with me. A lot of these guys. Hopefully, he's up for the challenge and he stands with me because I love to throw them hands.
Yeah, I think some people. So go on. It's okay, Eric. Carry on, mate.
Oh no! I thought I was losing you there for a second.
No. Carry on, buddy.
It was. I can't wait to show up January 30th at Shamrock. I really can't. Hopefully he shows up too, like mentally and physically prepared, because I'm looking for a battle.
Do you know what? I feel that you will get that battle because from what I've experienced with Shamrock and dealing with Jesse and the team there, they do their best to try and match up guys that will do a stylistic matchup that will bring the fans an enjoyment. It'll bring fans entertainment, because the last thing Jesse wants to do is put on a boring fight. So he'll do it. All he'll do is, he'll always try to match up guys that will bring a good fight together, that their styles will meet, and it will be entertainment, because obviously you can't predict what's going to happen on a day, but all they do is put two names together that should work. And you know what? I'm certain that I have faith in every decision every time someone makes that, because Shamrock seem to keep pulling out the hat all the time. They seem to put on good promotion. They put on good shows, and you're fighting on the 30th of January with what Shamrock are doing is as well, but the way they're expanding the online content, the way you can watch it online is very good as well for exposure for yourself.
Oh yeah. See, I don't have a whole lot of exposure. I've been doing this for years. I have a few videos on YouTube that I never put up there, and so I don't. So it's kind of, this right here is like my first go around with interviews. So happy to be doing them.
Hey, look. The thing is, Eric, sometimes in this sport, it's really difficult to either get noticed, or either get the notoriety, or just even get yourself out there a bit more. Sometimes it is a matter of getting with the right promotion, getting the backing from the right people. And you know, with Shamrock, you will get looked after, and that's why I like dealing with Shamrock FC. I like dealing with a handful of promotions that I know that are good people, and they care about their fighters. You know, they want to. Yes, they want to promote the fight and they want to promote the show, but they also want to, you know, give you yourself, the fighter, the experience and the exposure to be out there, and I think it's beautiful, and I think that's key. And what I think as well, then, see now this is like your first round of interviews, stuff like you've experienced. A good thing to get out to is social media. Social media is a huge part of the sport. All right. So, do you have social media links that people can either jump onto, whether it be Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc.?
I've got a Facebook, and they could just find me by Eric Crittendon. I post, you know, it's not really a blog about fighting or anything. It's just me, but I put stuff up every once in a while. You know, that a fight's coming up. But if anybody wants some positive feedback or anything, you know, or to read something positive, all you got to do is go to my page, and that's pretty much all that's on there. There's nothing but positive vibes. So
that's fine. That's all they need for now. And then what about? Have you got any sponsors? Then is there any local companies or any people that are helping you out?
No, this is all me, man.
It's all you, dude. I tell you what, well done, sir. I reckon if you did start looking around, you'd probably get people backing you up. There's always people. I tell you, I spoke to many people from local areas that they live in, and there's always companies that are willing to help and support people, you know, back their kind of local fighters and stuff like that. And what about, you know, do you want to give a thanks to the people that have come to help you out with the training, like the, you know, and friends that maybe help you out and stuff like that, and even, you know, any family and stuff?
Yeah, not really. Every once in a while, you know, like I go up to, I'll go to Glory, you know, and do some sparring with their guys, Glory MMA.
Yeah.
James Krause, he's a pretty good guy. You know, I just don't get up there to train with them. I just kind of like different sparring partners, you know, different places. You know, you go to the same place, you get the same flavor every time you spar. So you go to different schools and everything, then you get different styles and different styles of teaching as well, and you kind of learn. I kind of learn that way.
Yeah, it does help. I think as well. I think you're right. I think that if you are mixing up your training partners and your coaches, you will then start to learn a lot more. You'll absorb a lot more. There is little things you'll take from each different kind of club, so to speak. I think you're dead on. I've always embraced that. I've always suggested that to people as well. Eric, look, you know, you're fighting Julius on the 30th of January. Have a great fight, man. You know, just enjoy that whole weekend. It's gonna be a hell of an experience.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, with that great promotion, and just, you know, have a great fight, man. Enjoy the whole time.
Oh yes, most definitely. I always enjoy fighting for them. They always find me the best guys to fight, and that's what this sport is about: is finding the best and fighting the best. And you know, I haven't been let down yet.
And Eric, thanks very much for coming on, and thank you very much for talking with me, sir. Okay.
You're very welcome. You know, call me anytime.